Okay. Oh, yeah.
Tyler has a famous saying that's called learning is winning.
And we are learning and winning at the same time. Okay,
We're live?
We are live.
Right on.
All right.
Nobody's watching either.
Fifth time's the charm, so it's all good.
Fifth time?
Seems like
Seventh? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's up, dude?
Okay. It's good to be here. It's been a long time since we have done this and actually sat down and talked.
Yeah, we did a couple Whiskey Throttle podcasts. That was kind of fun.
It's been kind of a wild ride since 2 years. Yeah.
May of 2024.
That's, officially when we started.
Right? That was, kind of the... So what the heck is Ankuur Studios? Like, I've had people ask me, we've been doing this for just over a year now, and we've been servicing the clients that we have for really just over 6 months, April-ish. We started to onboard clients that were outside of that umbrella of HB companies.
Yep.
So, dude, let's just talk, like, what is Ankuur? How did this thing start?
So it started back in 2023, around December time frame, and I was coming back from Boise on a trip, and at the time, like, I wasn't employed, and you were still working at Anderson Hicks Group, and you were kind of just like frustrated and feeling some friction with just getting content and the consistency of it. And you and I had been friends before that, and we'd just kind of gone back and forth of like, hey, like, what if we just, brought everything in-house to Anderson Hicks Group? And so that's kind of how it started, where we just were like, hey, I can start doing like the listing photos. We can make videos. And we were literally in a broom closet, that was kind of extended
tiny,
little bit. Yeah,
right?
It was very tiny. We had 2 desks in there.
Now, when you were driving back from Boise, you were in between jobs, right?
Yeah.
At the time, you were working for the Guard. This guy, he serves our country, stud. So that's what you were doing in Boise.
Yep.
And you had put together kind of this, basically a PowerPoint presentation of some ideas you'd had.
Yeah, it was basically a keynote of like, hey, I already own Ankuur, which it was kind of intended to be like a lifestyle clothing brand. And I was like, I already own the assets for it. I already own the domain. I think I bought the domain probably in 2018, 2019, and just kind of sat on it for a long time.
It was going to be a clothing company, kind of what you were thinking, right?
Yeah, that's initially what it was intended for. I just thought the logo, the bowl is
baller
just
logo.
Something fierce, and I didn't really know what to do with it. And then so I kind of just remember it was actually the cover of the photo of the cover of like the presentation was of you, and it was when we went hiking actually.
We hit Table Rock.
Yeah, we hit Table Rock, and that was the photo, and I just put like Ankuur Studios, and then I think from there it was like maybe like 5 pages, and it kind of like had tiered it out of like, okay, like this is what I would do, this is how kind of like how I would approach it if we were to do this. And that's really kind of how it started. It was very grassroots, really had no idea what we were doing at all.
No.
We really didn't. Like, if you think about it, like, we were using Basecamp, but like it was messy.
Well, and I think, dude, the cool thing, I don't believe there's coincidences.
No.
Right? There's no coincidences in life. So, you and I we had formed a friendship. I mean, that Table Rock hike, remember the bear?
Yeah,
right?
we saw a bear. I'd never seen someone pull a gun out so fast in my life.
Well, we were told it was a grizzly, and it wasn't a grizzly. But anyway, we had formed this friendship, and you kind of knew some of the struggles that we were experiencing. So we were a small business. Yep. Anderson Hicks Group, but it was really at that point it had grown to AHB companies. We had Anderson Hicks Group, we had a mortgage company, we had a tech company. And the challenge is, like, as a business owner, you're like, every time you start another company, which Ankuur, you grabbed onto this logo, you grabbed onto this branding.
Yeah.
Well, now you have to design a website, and you have to create social media pages, and you've got to create all these assets, and you've got to provide marketing for those specific arms. And it became a huge challenge. We were we were growing at a rapid rate, and I believe creating content is the wave of the future.
Yeah.
I believe you got to be good at it, and you got to be quick.
Yep.
You can't be waiting, and so I believe small business owners and business owners in general, they're getting to a point where you need that highly produced commercial, which we can do.
Right.
We can produce that, but then there's this element of this studio type, podcast type, talking head type content that you really need. And that was our pain point.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude, I can fill that pain, I can fill that void.
Yeah.
And here's how. And so, we said, okay, well, let's try this. And you came and you started in basically a broom closet.
A broom closet with 2 desks, and I don't think there was AC in there. If maybe it worked, I don't know if it did.
It was, but the AC in that building was horrible anyway. So,
and that's kind of how it started, because we weren't really catering to anyone else. It was just Anderson Hicks Group and some of the other like HG Capital and then like Area Pro at the time that kind of all fell under the HB umbrella. But we didn't really start servicing clients until I bet 6 months at least after that.
Yeah.
Where we were just trying to figure out, like, who are we?
Yep.
We're just trying to get our shoes on. And there's a lot of, we're still learning. Like, it took us like 2 hours to figure out how to get this YouTube Live thing set up. Like, there's been a lot of growing pains throughout this whole thing. Yeah, but it's like,
it's what you say.
Learning is winning. Like,
That's
we
right.
have learned so much from this whole experience of just like what works and what doesn't, and that everything has evolved from the broom closet. And like, we were at a studio just down the street in Shoup Ave, like, and that worked for a little bit, but it was a little bit bigger than a broom closet, but not by much.
Yeah. So walk me through that. That was kind of the growth of the company. Was you were doing the listing photos.
Yeah.
Which was, dude, your skill level and your talent level, it was way under servicing what you were capable of. Now, Granted, you were doing some drone, we were doing some cool video, and you and I together kind of realized, okay, there's kind of these 3 elements of what we want to create: educate, inspire, entertain.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of what businesses need. But we also, during that time, had kind of created this formula with the Anderson Hicks Group, but that was really working. And we did that in collaboration with Jason Hancock, right, and 961 Interactive, which was, hey, if we optimize all of our online presence or create domain authority, and at the same time we audit and understand what people are searching for, and the category at that time was real estate, and we create relevant content, video, that pertains to what we're finding,
right,
then it creates this organic reach over time that just produce leads, right? So that was the business element of it.
Yep.
But at the same time, man, we were you and your just how talented you are. Just so you guys know, Tyler is always like getting asked to review equipment. So you're getting hit up, and you're being sent lenses all the time. Camera, what do you have right now? You got a Nikon?
Yeah, it's a Z9 that been using it for, I think, maybe a month. And, because I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but, there's just so many different cameras in the market. And I really just wanted to try them all to kind of get a feel of like what works.
Which gets expensive.
Yeah, it does, especially
if you're buying them.
Yeah. And I fell in love with Leica, and I won't go down. That's probably another story for another day. But it's like, it all came tumbling down when it broke, and then it's like, well, now what? And so, just to like, what I've learned throughout this whole thing, right? Because I think truly believe that learning is winning. Like, you're really marrying the lens. Like, if you want a specific lens, like you kind of have to get a camera that supports that lens. And like, that's why I went with Leica, because it was literally one lens. I was like, I have to have this. It's a 28 to 45 1.8. And I was like, I can shoot 90% of what I do on this. Like I said, it's another story for another day, but I've been really fortunate to have a lot of pieces of equipment, and to, like, I started making a list of everything that I've actually owned and used and sold over time, and it's like 2 pages worth of gear that's like that I could absolutely vouch for and recommend, yes or no. Like I would, and there's a lot of things like I would not buy again, but like that came at the cost of, tuition of money.
Yeah.
But, and that's the stuff that AI is not going to tell you. Like ChatGPT can only recommend so many things, but it's like, unless you've battle tested it, you don't know. And like, and to that point, like we have battle tested a lot of things in this room of like, what works? Like, how do you communicate to clients?
Yes.
And like, how do you actually figure out who's doing what and where and when and how? Like, it seems like really common sense, but it's like, if there's nothing in place for that, and we are literally starting from scratch.
Yep. Yeah, it's systems and models, right? So we've had to build systems and models and processes, and then we've had to add people. And what was really cool is we moved out of the closet. Well, and let me finish my thought there, because before I go down this path, I want to give you a shout out, because Tyler, well, at the same time we were doing listing photography, we were creating videos, but then you were getting these opportunities with like, there were some farmers, Ray, right?
Yeah,
and
the progressive irrigation.
Dude, Progressive Irrigation was doing a project out here where they're replenishing the aquifer, and they needed some coverage of that. And Tyler, man, dude.
We made like a 15-minute documentary on that.
That was unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, we just got hit up by a senator to use some of that
footage, yeah.
Footage,
so like,
which we're going to do. But so to Tyler's credit, he was picking up these side gigs, and we're getting a lot of attention from other people, and they're asking us, can you service these other businesses? And so it was opening these doors that were kind of like, well, gosh, we didn't really build it to do this. We had to add, we pulled, a second hand in. So you had some help at that point. He's no longer with the company, so we won't mention the name, but he was kind of giving you some help with shooting. But we started to understand, okay, well, we have this opportunity, and we opened it up to some other clientele.
Yeah.
Moved downtown. Jace Howell, stud, got us into, it had to have been like maybe 800 square feet, maybe 900 square feet, studio type, setup. And it was just big enough for 2 desks in there, and then a small studio setup.
Yeah, it was maybe a quarter of this.
Yeah. And we're in 1,500 square feet now, right?
Yeah, I bet it was half the size.
Yeah, it was probably half.
Yeah.
But what we realized was, and dude, kudos to you. You set up a little studio in there. We
made it work.
Yeah, dude, that's where we started. And there was no permanent fixtures, right?
No.
We had lighting, and then it got to a point where at the end of that year, we're like, dude, let's build a studio.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're sitting in today. And we bought, the equipment that we have here for the studio is, Blackmagic cameras. They just stay here, nothing. And then we use DaVinci. But anyway, kudos to you.
Oh, appreciate it, man.
Like getting those other opportunities and really kind of opening both of our eyes to what the potential was. So you're a baller.
Yeah, well, sometimes.
Yeah, he is. So anyway, now we're in the studio. What is Ankuur? What is this company? And how many people do we have? What are we doing? How are we helping these clients?
So, we got Kris, who, he doesn't give himself enough credit. Like, you have the business side, so to speak, of just like bringing everything together with systems and models. Like that's what you live and breathe. and then we have Ashley, who does like the social media aspect of it. And then we have, Casey was just a recent editor that we added. And then at the time, Corey came on kind of in the middle of winter, and he was mostly doing listing photos with me. And then it just got to a point where we just couldn't support doing that and the client work. So we stopped doing the listings, and then we focused solely on just supporting the 7 companies that we work with. Yeah,
we added clients. Talk to me about Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley, dude, she came on. She was early on.
She was
HG.
She was the original with us, and she does like all of the social media aspect of it. Like she manages it. She works with the clients to make sure that they're telling like their messaging is spot on, that they're actually responding to clients. Like that's one of the biggest, I think, pain points that she would probably say is like clients are not responding to their own comments.
Yep.
And like she helps kind of audit and moderate that, because people, like for example, like Downtown Bridal is one of our clients, and so many gals are just asking like, do you have this in stock? And it's like she's constantly seeing like those notifications come through, and you don't realize how big of a role that like this plays, even though you're a small business, like the people who are following you, like are actually like following you.
Yeah.
It's not just a number, like, especially like when you're in this small knit community, people actually pay attention to what you're doing. And that's really what we're seeing, is that the importance of having someone to oversee that, because like, we've kind of divided our roles into the things that we're good at. Like, you obviously are a mastermind at like these systems and models and are an incredible salesman, and just, but you understand like what we offer because you have been on the other side where you've seen the pain points. Like, you've been at HG where you saw like, this is just not working. There's a better way to do this. And then you saw an opportunity. It's like, well, there's other opportunities that we could provide to other clients that they're just not getting the service that like I wish that I had. And I think that's really kind of how it started with you, is that you saw and understood what other people were feeling. And you were like, well, why don't we just build that so that we can make a difference in these small businesses who are struggling with the same thing I am.
And it was, I mean, that really is it. And we can, like, I want to jump into that a little bit more, but I want to give, and Ashley was part of that.
Yep.
Like, Ashley, the biggest challenge with social media is there are multiple elements to it. And so at Ankuur Studios, one of the things that we started to attack first was, okay, we're going to create content. We're going to do it in a way that allows us to have anywhere from 6 to 8 reels that we can actually pull out of that content on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
That's just automatically created for these clients, right? So they don't even have to think about that. We're creating and curating content at a high level for them.
Yep.
And Ashley, when we start with a client, Ashley does a full audit. Because, when I first met Ashley, I handed her my social media and I said, this looks like garbage, make it look pretty. And she was the first one that knew exactly what I meant. She's like, okay, we need to standardize this look. We need to make sure that everything, on your, what do you call it?
Your feed?
On your feed.
Yeah.
Is like, that it has some continuity and that it looks pretty. And so when you go to our feed or our client's feed, you'll notice that. And like, I love, and so that was the first aspect, is like the 70-80% we can control. But then there's this coaching element of it that we've added where, we know we can provide 70 to 80% of that curated content.
Yeah.
But what we can't do is the social piece. We cannot, for that business owner, be their voice.
Right.
And so that's where the stories come in. And Ashley is amazing at helping people to understand that. And then the messaging on the back end.
Yeah.
If you're getting messages from people that have taken the time to follow you, like your stuff, and they're actually interacting with you, there's got to be some rules of engagement. You got to be engaging with that. And so Ashley was really kind of the answer to that. And she, I would say the biggest challenge that, I think she's had, and even you to some extent, is your creative minds. Both of you guys are so amazing. Like, bar none, I don't think there's anybody that has that level of creativity. And the way that you guys work in your own systems and models, it works amazingly well for you. But me trying to pull that out of you so that we can actually leverage some of that off, I think has been one of the challenges that we've seen.
Sure.
Right? So anyways, but we added some additional clients. There's a shout out to Ashley. We'll get Ashley on here and do an interview with her too. But these clients that we're working with right now, what are the results that they're seeing? You talked about Downtown Bridal.
Yeah, just recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, we got a notification saying that their website was seeing so much traffic that they had to up their service so that they could support it.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Shout out to Jason and his team. They built the website, integrated an appointment setting scheduler in there that they can see budgets and everything. And it's just going gangbusters. So,
people have just gone kind of crazy about like dresses, and they're actually really fun to work with and it's so fascinating that, I go from that to one of our other clients, which is Switchback Motorsports, and just going off-roading, this kind of gritty lifestyle in the off-road, to like very like delicate, soft and gentle vibes. So, we service so many different, and then you have like Synergy Electric, who's, very like blue collar, grit kind of like mentality. And it's like, but each of them have their own way of approaching storytelling. I think that's what makes us different. It's like there's no like cookie cutter for like what we've done. Like, you know, the services that we provide are very similar, but how we approach every story and like they all look different. You know, they're not just like, you know, we don't use like LUTs or presets because everything is so custom to that experience. That,
and those people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like we're not just slapping a look on it, and it's all custom curated like in the studio. Like we see it, we kind of gather, you know, feedback from the client, but we really tailor the story and the look and feel to the client.
Yeah, and it's been fun. I'm doing this full time now, right? So I jumped in, left Anderson Hicks Group. I love that team. I love those people. I one of the best experiences of my life. And now it's full time. Legacy Ranch Properties is my real estate arm, and Ankuur Studios, and we still support those guys. We still do all their marketing and help those guys over at Anderson Hicks Group, and I'll love those guys for life, right? But and now it's created these different opportunities. This studio is something that's opened a couple of different, you know, options for our clients. Talk to me about that. What does this do for these clients, and you know, how does it help them in their businesses?
Yeah, this really, kind of like you had mentioned earlier, is that, you know, clients need content. They need, even if it's just like this kind of talking head style, it still tells a story. It still conveys a message. You know, one of the things that we're planning on doing with like Downtown Bridal, for example, is having them bring in dresses and just talk about like winter fashion, you know, and that's value added, and that's based off of, you know, research that we've done on like Google Trends. Like, what are people actually talking about and searching right now as we're getting ready for winter? And, you know, it's like people are wondering like, are bows in? I have no idea. You know, but the
you
gals,
got 3 daughters, man. Are bows in?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
But I mean, they know.
Yeah.
And so it's just like something that they can talk about that is, you know, that, to your point, the education piece of like, hey, we're going to address those needs. Like, how do you dress fashionably in the winter in a dress? I have no idea, but like they know, and they can talk about that. And like, that's something that they get excited about. You know, and we do that with like all of our other clients. Like we really try to find and do the research of like, okay, this is what is actually like people are talking about, you know, looking at forums and blogs. And then kind of what we started doing, and I don't really know a lot of people who are doing this, is like we start with the title of the YouTube before we even do anything. Like we don't push record until we know what the YouTube title is, so that we know we can deliver on that. Because like that is like our number one platform for building growth, is like having a community online and delivering on that one, you know, those 556 characters in that title. Like that is the most important thing that we're trying to, you know, give to the client, so that they know exactly what they're going to deliver on when they come and meet with us. You know, we just haven't seen that in other marketing companies. Like we're not just throwing out ads, like, but it's very intentional of like, this is exactly what you're going to talk about, and then here are the reasons why this is important.
Yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into that too. We just got done, you know, planning Q4 with Downtown Bridal, planning with Switchback, and you know, we start that process at least 30 to 60 days in advance, so that we can make sure that we're in line with them. And you know, everybody's needs are going to change. There's seasonality, there's different things that come into play, but you know, it really is. And kudos to you for kind of building that formula. I'm a big time. I love systems, models, and formulas, and I love people, you know, finding great people that are passionate about what they do. And I feel like that's what we've done. We got, you know, before we wrap this thing up, how long have we been going, Corey? Okay.
24 minutes.
24 minutes of a bunch of BS. You and me, dude. You and me. But I am a firm believer in building amazing things. I know you are, and we've kind of been working on the mission, the vision, the values of this company, and I'm excited to talk more about that. But it's really, we don't want to do business with people that are a-holes. Let's just say that, right? We don't want to do that.
Nope.
And we want to have fun. We want to enjoy what we do, and so we are very selective about who we work with and what we do, but then also who joins this team, you know. And we brought Corey on, and Corey's been he's over there. I'm going to make him blush. It's been amazing to work with.
Yeah.
And when we brought him on, we were still doing some listing photos, so we made him go get drone certified. I don't think he's touched a drone. since he was doing that training?
He did once.
One time.
But it was for a listing.
Yeah. Oh, so
yeah.
Good job, dude. You got trained up to do one. And then Casey just started with us. Casey's been here almost a month, right?
Just about a month, yeah.
So Casey's both of these guys, they are just amazing. They edit 3D animation, like stuff that's way out of my realm and my wheelhouse. So we're building a pretty solid team here. Jason and his team down in Vegas. It's amazing what we've been able to do in a short period of time, so what would you tell any business owner out there that is having some of these pain points? Their social media doesn't look great, their website, and they're not really creating content that's resonating or that's actually getting them anywhere, that's not creating what we talk about, that reach and adding some volume to their follower base and really helping them to grow revenue, because that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is, like, with any small business is just understanding what you add, like what the value that you provide your clients. And I think people don't really get that. And it's taken us a long time to really figure out, like, what value do we actually add to our clients. And I think if, I were to say anything to, like, a small business owner, it would just be, it's important to keep the lights on and the shop running. But through this experience of building this company, the first, like, 90 days or 30 days are just figuring out, like, the system of how you're going to, like, service your clients and how you're going to, like, retain them. What is, like, your mission statement, so that all of your people who work with you, they know what that is, and they know, like, the YouTube title, so to speak. They know what they're trying to deliver on every single time, because, like, and it may not be, like, a sexy thing to do, to sit down and, like, take out a piece of paper or, get on your computer and start writing, like, what you believe, who you are, what you care about, how you want to make a difference in people's lives. But if you don't know that, then, like, there's nothing to build content around. Mm-hmm. You're literally throwing, darts at the wall and hoping that you just hit something. But, like, I think once you understand what value you provide and how you can make a difference in people's lives, then it's easier to build content around that, because you actually care about it.
That's right.
You'd be surprised about how many people don't actually care about what they do. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard. And, like, we don't work with people who don't care about what they do, because if you don't care, we are not going to.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to help you.
No.
Right? And that's what we found. We have interviewed and we've been asked to serve as a couple different clients. And our onboarding process is pretty intense. Like, we go through one of the first pieces of content that we like to make is a who we are video. But part of the reason is because we need to know and understand who you are.
Yeah.
We need to know and understand what your story is. We need to know and understand how to build your branding, your coloring, all the aesthetic look of what we're going to help you do. But that gives us kind of this insight into, okay, how do we now build content that matters?
Yeah.
And I think about Synergy. One of the things that they said when they came on is that, they wanted to attract a certain type of person to hire to their company.
Yep.
And so as we learned about their company and learned about who they are and what they do, now we've been able to help them kind of position some of that content, and they're getting inquiries about, people wanting to come and work with them.
Yeah.
And so it matters. And, we take the time to go through that process. We've taken the time to go through it as a team here. We're a tight group of creatives. We don't want to build a box that's too big that doesn't allow us to do the things that we love and enjoy as well. So, anyway, dude, it's been a blast so far. I can't wait to see what May of 2025 brings, or May of 2026 brings. That'll be the 2-year anniversary, really.
Yeah.
Right. So,
onward and upward, man.
Right.
It's just, it's been a long. I wouldn't say long. The days have been long, but the years have been short. Mm-hmm. It seems like, and it's just every week we're learning something new, and I think it makes it engaging, because you just don't know what the day's going to bring. And I think, like, the moment that you become, like, satisfied is, like, when you stop learning.
Oh yeah, that's when you stop growing.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
You wanna say anything else before we jump off here?
Just, the thing that I would say is like, find something that you're passionate about and that you care about. And if you're a small business owner who's like trying to, like, if you have a great idea, like, take the time to write it out and really understand what you want to do and how you want to do it and the difference. Like, if you were to take like a Venn diagram, I would, and make the 3 circles. The first would be like, what do you care about? The second is, what breaks your heart? And the third, how do you want to change the world? And I think if you, the overlap in the middle, I think that's where you would really start to figure out like your why. Mm-hmm. Like, at least it's a good starting point. It doesn't exactly get you to 100%, but I think it gives you that 90 where you really start to think like, once you combine all those 3 things and you really seriously consider like, what is it that, that makes me go? I mean, I think if we were to ask every one of our clients, I mean, I'm pretty confident they could each answer that question of like, well, what is the thing for you? Like, what's your why? Mm-hmm. And it's because they've taken the time to figure it out. I mean, they know what they provide and they've been doing it long enough, but sometimes like you don't know until you really sit down and just think about it.
Yeah, and I would say the other thing that helps you do is it helps you to know what you're not.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because, sometimes you can chase shiny objects and there can be distractions. And
yep.
If you know who you are and exactly what you do, then it makes it really easy to do business. So if you're a small business owner out there, you're watching this or you see this and you want to know what it's like working with us, give us a holler, shoot us a text, DM us. And we'd love to help you go through this process. And I love, learning is winning. So thanks for taking the time, brother.
Yeah.
We'll do another one of these.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. How was that?
Off the air.